Greetings, trainers. I'm Deji.
And I'm Pedro.
With me today
I'm
is
Jovah.
Let Deji do the intro.
Whatever. Who cares?
No. Actually, no. It's our first one, so you should be able to do the introduction proper. So go ahead, Professor Digimon.
Yes, I am Professor Deji. With me are my free Pokemon field researchers, Jovah Hexion.
Ready to roll?
P.
Do you want me to explain to the audience why that's my username on the internet?
Nope.
Okay, usually people ask me to explain it, but go ahead.
And the girl option, Shiro.
Hi. I'm the mandate, I guess.
Yes. You see, she was originally going to be in Gen 1, but there wasn't enough space. We used her for the manga counterpart, though.
So then we added her in Gen 2.
Yes. but we're doing a new podcast series, hopefully, where we watch a Pokemon movie special every month and give our thoughts on it.
So, Dej, we should
regardless of quality.
So, Dej, we should probably explain to the audience. This will, of course, be including even the Pokemon specials such as Mewtwo Strikes Back.
And
Mewtwo
the Legend
Returns.
of Thunder.
Mewtwo's the origin of Mewtwo. That's the official 4Kids name of it.
No. We were talking about Mewtwo Returns.
Yeah.
Oh,
Basically, we're not just doing the mainline movies, we're also doing stuff like the movie specials. Because Mewtwo Returns is technically a special and whatnot.
Sure.
And we'll learn how much of a huge mistake this was.
What, the movies or the project?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Pokemon. It's a franchise, let's be honest, you've heard about this. Even if you aren't into games, you've heard of this. Even if you aren't into movies, you've heard of this. Even if you aren't into card games, you've heard of this.
Yeah, I'm sure our audience isn't dumb or oblivious to this. But let's start with the very beginning. Today's movie is Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Yes. Gotta give him credit. Putting the first movie there definitely implied it was gonna be a success. And this is before Pokemon. And this is before Pokemon became the highest grossing franchise of all time. Which I believe it still is currently.
Alright, so I'm gonna make a confession. Today was technically the first time I saw the movie all the way through. I saw bits and pieces of it. Wait. I've seen the beginning and the climax and the middle on several occasions, but I never sat down or saw all the way through.
I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised. It's like, you always struck me as a big Pokemon fan guy, despite your name sounding more like Digimon.
I am. It's just, I feel like, minor spoilers, I always felt that the first movie was always the weakest of the original, of the first three.
Oh, for me... Okay, hold on. For me, it's a toss-up.
I said weakest, not the best.
Yes.
That's what I was saying.
For me, it's a toss-up between the first one and the second one. Obviously, the third one is not a contender because that's still arguably one of the best Pokemon movies we've got, but... for me, it's a trade-up. Pokemon, the first movie, definitely has a lot of its weak points, but Pokemon 2000 gets pretentious, man. It gets real pretentious. But we're not here to talk about that movie today.
And Shiro, you said you saw this in theaters?
Yes.
Same.
What was it like, seeing it in theaters?
At the time, probably very exciting.
Uh-huh. Me,
because I can imagine, because this was the first film, and this was when things were at its all-time high.
Yeah, but back in those days, seriously, this movie was a big deal. They were marketing the whole Mewtwo versus Mew fight and everything. Like, it was a big deal.
Let me put it like this: this movie is not very good. That said, it is still a very entertaining watch. You could argue it's for the wrong reasons, but no, I will say this. if you're a big Pokemon fan, heck, even if you aren't a Pokemon fan, you can still get some enjoyment out of watching this movie. So, Deji, how did you feel with it being your first time seeing this movie through and through?
If I'm correct,
We'll get into it as we do the plot summary. Pedro, why don't you go ahead?
Yes, the Pokemon, the first movie that Mewtwo Strikes Back is about, Mewtwo striking back. What does that entail? Basically, a couple of scientists from, I'm guessing, Cinnabar Island, if we're going to assume it's the same as in the games, want to create the most powerful Pokemon, and they use the DNA of Mew, the rarest Pokemon, at the time at least. Remember, I'm a Gen 1 kid, Deji, so to me it is. But yeah.
Boy. I'll just say this. Rayquaza was very late to the party, damn it.
Well, I'll just say is that's pretty much the main driving force for one of the main characters of the new season journeys.
That's the thing, Jovah.
Rayquaza coming late?
No, Mewtwo. Searching for Mew.
That's the thing, Jovah. If there's one thing the first 4 movies tell us is that Rayquaza was terrible at his job before he was invented. But
yeah.
But anyway, yeah. These scientists use a fossil of Mew to extract its DNA and create Mewtwo, our original. During the cloning process, do you want me to sum up the uncut version, Deji, or just the 4Kids version?
Yeah, because that's technically the version you showed me.
Sure.
The version people got in Japan.
And it's the version we it's technically not the version we commented on, but we did commentate on the short before the movie anyway.
Yeah, basically, everybody, there's a fan-made edit that combines the 4Kids dub of the full origin of Mewtwo that was added as a special feature in Mewtwo Returns DVD with the original movie to create the proper English dub uncut version. But anyway, yeah. A scientist is actually has a special motivation for trying to create Mewtwo. Why? Because he has a dead daughter. And that's something that 4Kids entirely cut because, I guess kids can handle that for some shit. When you take a look at the scientist and you take a look at his design, if you know anything about manga anime history, he'll probably look a bit familiar to you. Basically, even though it's not been outright confirmed by the filmmakers, I think it's a pretty dead ringer for the fact that the scientist who heads the team is a clear reference to Dr. Tenma, the creator of Astro Boy. Basically, for those who don't know, in Astro Boy, Dr. Tenma loses his son and he recreates and creates a robot with his memories.
Wait, hold on. I thought it was his daughter.
Well, that's right. No, he's talking about Dr. Tenma, not.
I thought you were talking about the
Professor Fuji or whatever his name is.
I was getting to that. Basically, for those who don't know Astro Boy, like I was saying, Dr. Tenma is a scientist who loses his son, and he recreates a robot with his son's memories as a way to try to recover his son because he can't deal with the loss. That's basically what the scientist in this movie is doing as well. His pursuit of cloning is to try to possibly revive his dead daughter. Combined, when you take a look at comparison, just Google Mewtwo scientist from movie and Dr. Tenma. You can on Google Images.
His name is Dr. Fuji.
Dr. Fuji, okay. Dr. Fuji and Dr. Tenma look very much alike in terms of design. They have the same beard and everything. So even though it's not been outright confirmed, I think it's a pretty dead ringer that the whole thing is an Astro Boy reference because it's a very influential piece of work. Because it was Osamu Tezuka's was the first big success of the anime and manga industry. But carrying on with that, that's a little trivia for you guys.
So yeah, essentially we get.
Yes? Yeah, basically the dead daughter. Well, I was summarizing the dead. So
basically, I was going to continue where you left off there.
Sure, go ahead.
Well. Okay, so essentially we do get this scene of Mewtwo in a younger form along with the dead daughter of the scientist. Yes, Amber. Because it turns out that she is also a project being worked on. Unfortunately, things don't go all too well with her. Pedro?
Yes, basically, Mewtwo's body is the only one that can apparently survive the cloning process, and which is why cloning up until this point has been successful. Because not only does does Ember finally die, the other clones, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, they all die as well.
This is also some good foreshadowing for the later super clones that we get later on in the film. You know, the ones of Charizard, Blastoise.
We'll get to it.
However, before the daughter dies for good, she does tell one very important thing to Mewtwo, talking about how it's great that you're alive, unlike us. Go on and live a good life, and it doesn't matter if we're clones. We're still living beings.
Unfortunately, Dr. Fuji and his team of scientists erased his memory, which kind of had some backfire repercussions, because once Mewtwo finally wakes up, he's wondering why he feels so empty and sadness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, on one hand, I feel bad for the doc, because in reality, he was so in denial to bring his daughter back. Unfortunately, it just caused him to lose his wife as a result. And as we were about to see, he loses his own life, and along with scientists, because Mewtwo is confused and realizes, wait, they don't care about me. They just want test results and whatnot, and then kills them in an explosion. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If I was one of the scientists, I would have had some dark type Pokemon and bug type on standby just to be sure. I don't know.
Yeah, you really should have. You should have had a Tyranitar. That would have been able to take care of Mewtwo.
But what I love about it is after that, when Mewtwo kills all the scientists in the fit of rage because this cannot be my destiny.
Yeah, it turns out these scientists were getting funded by a certain man, Ash's father.
I want to mention something, by the way. So let me get this straight for kids. It's not okay to show the clones dying and the daughter, but it's okay to show Mewtwo literally killing an entire team of scientists in an explosion.
If I recall,
we didn't see the bodies.
They're not children.
Yeah, and plus they re-released it with Mewtwo. Sure, Mewtwo returned, so it's fine.
Did we ever get a reason for... Yeah, true, they did bring it back. I feel like there was a different reason why they didn't include that scene. Probably something to do with the amount of time they wanted on the film or whatnot. Look, with four kids, the reasons can vary so much as, it goes against their censorship laws too. Oh, we're cutting it down for time. And I'll admit, sometimes 4Kids' edits and alterations... have sometimes changed stuff for the better. Again, let me make this one thing clear.
In this case, I'd argue. Carry on.
4Kids are by no means the perfect company. Like, I would not blame people if they hated them more than they liked them. But to say that all they did was in the negative... Nah, that just never sits right with me. They did do arguably a lot of good, and like I said, while not all their decisions were for the best, sometimes they were able to change stuff for the better. Heck, they were
did
a
in this
company
movie,
who...
actually. They cut down those 10 minutes that I don't like, but they did try to foreshadow the bullshit Deus Ex Machina at the end. So there's that.
Yes, although to my knowledge, the movie, I don't know, it just... Apparently, to take this with a grain of salt, because a voice actor by the name of Kerbifer, I'm sure you've heard of him, he said that he was told that initially they were considering getting Leonardo DiCaprio to voice Ash.
What?
What? Okay. You know what? I'm not surprised. Leonardo DiCaprio was some... hot stuff at the time, you know.
Yeah, he still is. No, that's BS, but whatever.
Look, okay. Consider this. He was the star of what at the time was the highest grossing film of all time. Like, yeah, I think that speaks high box office numbers. And you know how companies... Yeah, they probably would have justified it some way, somehow. They would have either pitched his voice proper, and come on, guys. Like, it would be the first time a company has gotten a hot new actor for the movie or whatnot.
Unfortunately, the real problem with this movie from the English side is they tried to make it about Ash when in reality the movie is about Mewtwo. So cutting those 10 minutes did affect it to some degree.
I will give him credit, though. I feel like certain characters are better in the English dub. Like, okay, look, if you tied me to a chair and forced me to choose, I would pick the English dub because the Japanese dub. Oh boy, some characters come off as downright a-holes in that one.
All right, guys. We can't drag on.
Anyway, but yeah, like I mentioned, the scientists were actually being funded by Giovanni. Granted, this isn't quite stated directly in the movie, but it is.
Yes, it is.
They even say they were funded by Giovanni.
They state that Giovanni was funding the expedition. Yes, Jovah.
True, yeah. Sorry, I misspoke there. Giovanni, actually, yeah, true. I even said earlier that Giovanni was the one funding there.
That was the point of the movie where the cut dub started.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, actually, to be fair, no, Shiro. The 4Kids original version also mentioned Giovanni financing things.
Yeah, when Mewtwo wakes up, someone says, "Call Giovanni on the phone."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I just said. That's where the cut dub starts.
Okay, sorry.
Pretty much. Anyway, like I said, though, so Giovanni reveals himself and in a absolute power move, offers Mewtwo partnership or whatnot. And yeah, that's pretty much what they have going for them.
To help him to see his purpose. And now we see a clip from the anime where he's battling Gary.
Which
it's a nice tie into the show. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
it's the only movie to have been built up by the show. But they've never done that again.
And you gotta admit, it was a pretty cool moment. Like, for as many problems as this movie has, the ingredients for the hype were absolutely there. And while I would argue that you could consider this a bad movie, I'd still say that it's a very entertaining movie, especially if you were a Pokemon fan.
Oh, it is.
Regardless of that one thing that everybody hates. But again, we'll get to that later. But yeah, essentially, so Giovanni could have had it all, but for some stupid reason chooses to be a dick to Mewtwo. Like, yeah, let's be a dick to the Pokemon who, leveled your research laboratory in your own frickin' lair, Giovanni.
It's not even just that, Joe, but he's basically, okay, now I'm in full control of my power, but what is my purpose? And then all of a sudden, for no reason, Giovanni spills the beans to serve me. You were created to serve me. And of course, Mewtwo revolts around. Gee, what did you think was gonna happen, you twat?
You don't gloat about your evil plans.
Although, you know what, to be fair, Mewtwo's apparently not that good at his job this time because Giovanni came out unscathed as seen in the anime.
Yeah.
Hey, and I'm sure that won't have any consequences later on.
Regardless,
so Mewtwo escapes, and then
he goes back. He goes back to the island where he was created, and then says, "I'm gonna create this and all that."
And then pulls a Shadow the Hedgehog and promises the world revenge.
Revenge on what, you may wonder?
Humanity. Jovah, come on, let's not pretend everyone's dumb.
A handful of humans were mean to me, so all humans must die.
Humans created me, therefore humans must die. Wait, what?
Well, from his perspective, to be fair, is that they created me specifically for the purpose of me serving them. So that's his logic.
Yes, and,
because just from
they
one
never
guy,
cared about him, and he was also used as a tool.
Yeah, totally. Just by the perspective of one guy who is a dick.
One guy and a team of scientists as well, and not to mention the organization. Mind
you, like I said, you don't often come to the first movie for its plot, so let's not harp too much on it. So anyway, like Dead said, we cut years ahead, where we finally get a remix of... Well, okay,
it's not years ahead. It's days, because that scene takes place days afterwards.
Yeah. Which is weird because they shoot it like
built his fortress very quickly.
Yeah.
Yes, he has psychic power, so we can do anything.
It takes place a month, because we'll get more into that. But yeah, we see Ash tired until a guide who looks like he's part of Team Aqua before the thing challenges to a match. And that's when we first see Donphin. And I'm sure a lot of people are like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's the thing about these movies here. They were used to advertise new Pokemon here and there.
Yeah.
Kudos.
And then, like, Ash is easily wrecking him till the guy decides to cheat.
Yeah, he has 3 Pokemon out at the same time.
And yes,
and one of them's a Golem.
Yes, I'm gonna have to be that guy. Why the fuck is a Golem being defeated by an electrical attack? Can someone
Because
please
it's a special
explain?
Pikachu. I told you this.
Because
Yeah,
plots.
Okay,
Roll of cool.
Pedro, the whole Pikachu being able to take on Earth monsters thing, that's been a thing since the anime. Like,
I know, but that doesn't mean I still have to like it, though.
remember, Pedro,
No,
it's
of
because
course.
Pikachu was powered up insanely thanks to that device that Brock's father came up of.
But that makes no sense.
Of course it doesn't. There's a reason why they fixed it in the remake.
Well, okay, then I guess that's cool.
Yeah, we'll get to that eventually as well. But regardless, match
Jovah,
one.
that's like nearly 2 years, over 2 years from now.
Alright,
Like I
let's
said,
carry on.
eventually. Anyway, match one. Then a Dragonite comes. Oh, catch it! But wait, no, it brings a message. With a certain looking woman. A very familiar looking woman. Okay, just a show of hands. Who else called who it was before the mystery was even brought up?
Me, because it's the same voice actress, and the 4Kids actress didn't really have that much range.
It's not even meant to be a twist. It was even built up like Brock finds out later.
Well, okay.
It was like
Okay, Deds, did you know about the plot thing before you
Yes.
even watched it?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
The movie's
it's
so
kind of
iconic
obvious.
at this point. Oh, I want to mention something. One line that said in that scene, when Brock looks at Nurse Joy's mini holograph, he says, and I quote, "She's really small but really pretty." That line can be so easily taken horribly out of context.
I guess that must be part of his fetish. Still,
Okay, so Jovah's into Moe. Okay,
I'll just say this. Brock should have gotten to settle down with Lucy. Max, you son of a...
Okay.
Anyway, we move on.
Anyway.
We see that Mewtwo has also invited several other trainers to his islands.
Oh, by the
But
way,
in
Team
order to-
Rocket are around.
Yeah, it was like Team Rocket barely do anything in these movies.
That
They're kind
is
of just in the
kind of
background
a-
following everyone around. They don't really interact with
In
anybody
this,
directly.
in this particular movie, they don't really do anything. They're just there.
Wait, whoa, hold on. Meowth's around to give exposition later on, but... Again,
Yeah,
that's
translate
later.
what the Pokemon are saying. Yeah.
I still think the worst bout for them was Pokemon Heroes, where they never even run into the heroes. But
Technically, they don't even run into the heroes in this movie either.
No, they actually do, technically.
Do they? Where?
There's several bouts here, like, Meowth even makes himself known to them. Like, okay,
Well-
they're basically along with the rest of the group and everything, too, during that scene.
Well, they never interact though with Ash specifically. I mean, they don't even. Ash doesn't even acknowledge them.
They're technically there. Look. Pokemon Heroes, you can say for certain that the heroes don't even look at them like they're not even really in the same room as the heroes at all, regardless.
We always drag on with these minor details.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so Mewtwo decides to put up a test so that not just anyone can come, even though he invited so many people. He makes a storm.
But because it's like, okay, getting there is one thing, but it's to test them. How determined are they to get to him?
I guess, like, it kind of runs askew of his plans, but we'll get to that.
Not really.
Well, okay, his plan, as we find out later, is to generate a clone army. So
Yeah, but he also wants to get the strongest trainers as well. If they're strong enough to get through the storm, then they're worthy.
the problem
It's
is
called
that
a test.
the problem is that it's established that the clones are automatically stronger anyway. So, like,
Yeah, okay, but if you're gonna make something that's strong by default, don't you want to make it? Don't you want to have the strongest variation of it, though?
then here's a counter argument. What's stopping somebody from just having one Pokemon strong enough to bring them there, but the rest of their Pokemon are weaklings?
You're that guy that ruins a Scooby-Doo mystery, aren't you?
No. I'm just pointing out that Mewtwo's plan... I feel like his plan would have been just fine if he had let as many people come. Like, heck, separate the wheat from the chaff at your island. And besides, aren't you all about... Alright, you're about exterminating the originals in the Japanese dub. Actually, it's kind of not clear what he wants to do with the originals in the English dub. I guess it's better than the Japanese dub.
Well, in the Japanese dub, he just says he wants to fight to prove that they're better than the originals. He even uses the term originals in the Japanese version.
It's all just a test for him, just to see how strong.
He just wants to prove that that the clones have bigger dicks than the originals, basically.
Yeah.
I believe he also refers to wiping.
You're oversimplifying this, man.
Oversimplifying. I think you have the wrong term there.
I'm going to choke you. All right,
let's try to move on.
Anyway, back to the thing, though. The docks are closed, and also, it's not really urged for Pokemon to go out because the Nurse Joy of the town is missing.
Oh, boy. For a month.
Oh boy, Jovah, how about this? You'll describe what the captain of the boat says in English, and I'll describe what she says in Japanese, because they're vastly different speeches. Go ahead, Jovah.
You want to go to Minnesota? We'll take you there.
No. I don't mean Team Rocket.
Not Team Rocket.
I mean that blue-haired woman that gives that speech about the tears of life and shit.
Oh, God.
You want me to say it? Or
many centuries ago, the Pokemon cried after a massive storm came and helped to reform the life and lands lost from it.
Yeah, basically he says, the ancients talk about this ancient storm that only spares a few Pokemon. And the tears of those Pokemon who survive the storm, the tears of those Pokemon will have the power to restore life. Again, here's what happens in the original version. In the original version, she starts by saying that her name is Voyager. Yes, that's her official name, Voyager.
Yeah. Also, I gotta say this: is it just me, or does Voyager look like a prototype for Claire in Gen 2?
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what she says. If you want to know the sea, ask the seagulls at the wharf. You don't even have to ask. Look at the clouds. And I've never seen a hurricane like this. And then after she said, oh, wait, is it all over? I've been raised in this town, yet I've never seen a storm like this. So basically, in the original Japanese version, all she's doing is saying exactly what you would think she would say, being the captain. Look, the storm is too dangerous. There's no way I'm putting you guys on water in these conditions because I don't want to risk any lives. So please... And
yet she's A-okay with the... Wait, so she's actually the captain? Because that was never mentioned in the English dub. It's just that...
Yeah, because she's just this random woman. It's like, okay, what do you have to deal with anything? You're not even going to be involved with the plot.
The point is they let them all go anyway.
I know, right? Oh, speaking of which, I've been meaning to ask. I cannot for the life of me find out the name of the song that's playing when they're all leaving, but I still want to figure it out because that music was later reused for Pokemon Puzzle League. I like it, but I don't know the name of it.
The score you're most likely familiar, Jovah, is the American 4-Kids score, which is different than the Japanese score. I actually do have it on my MP3s. If I can send it to you if you want.
Sure.
What she says is in the original, in the English version, what Jovah was saying, how she still lets him go. In the English version, she says they're fearless trainers. To them, this is nothing more than a test. They follow their heart, and that's what makes them true great Pokemon trainers and shit. In the Japanese version, have fun dying, basically. In the Japanese version, she says they're adventurers. If they were people we could stop, they wouldn't have gathered here in the first place. What? Let me read that again. She says, and I quote, if they were... This is the Japanese version, for the record.
Yes.
If they were people we could stop, they wouldn't have gathered here in the first place.
It's meant to be symbolic. It's like, okay, yes, they're trainers. This is what they live for. They're doing because they love the thrill of the adventure.
They're determined to be stopped, basically.
I'm sorry, but this is where I come in and say that I feel like the English script is overall better than the Japanese script.
I actually agree.
Because stuff like that, is just dumb. At least in the English script, they try to loosely, but still do try to tie it in with what is actually going on, because, yes, technically it is a test.
Not just that, but everybody, you might be wondering, everybody, why did they change the speech from, we're not going to let you go into this storm because it's too dangerous, from, oh, the tears of the Pokemon surviving this ancient legendary storm can restore life. What is that? Why did 4Kids add that? Let's just say they're foreshadowing for something that was never foreshadowed in the Japanese version. Carry on.
Yes.
And you know what? Credit to 4Kids. It's probably for the best they foreshadowed that. But anyway, so the trainers head out to sea, as do Ash and his company. But yeah, gee, Ash, maybe if you had fully evolved your Squirtle by now, you could have had a better ride. But...
Sorry, you can't fully evolve. Marketability.
Which is funny, because later generations she will evolve them.
No, he didn't evolve any of his water starters until Gen 6.
Also, I have to ask, are Jesse and James's Viking disguised as racist?
Apparently,
are Vikings still alive?
Yeah, can someone please explain to me what the hell is up with the Minnesota
line?
Don't
you know? Don't you know? Of course they've been hanging out in Minnesota. Whatever. Hokey.
That's a funny joke. I don't care what anyone says.
What does it mean?
Basically, wait, Joe. I'm gonna say this as quickly as possible. Minnesota Vikings are a football team. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Moving.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because we're not American, so we would just
yeah.
Weird. I thought I told you that you guys during that in the commentary, but then again, that commentary's been how many years again old? But yeah,
2.
That's the joke essentially.
Okay.
But wouldn't you know, it doesn't really work. And you know what? It was a better joke there than whatever they did in the Japanese stuff with the whole Vikings thing.
What they say in the Japanese version is, they had these kinds of boats too, huh? We must be pretty lucky. So in the Japanese version, it's not even a joke. It's just basic banter. Basically.
And it's not even explained why they're dressed as frickin' Vikings.
Okay, carry on.
But yeah,
because they're in disguise. This is the most least ridiculous disguise that Team Rocket has had in the entire series. So
no, I didn't.
Whatever. Unfortunately, their plan backfires because they got washed up revealing their costumes. But it's too late because they all get washed up. Misty uses Starmie to save Brock. Ash uses Squirtle to help him and Pikachu.
Small correction: she uses Staryu, not Starmie.
Sorry, whatever. Point is, Misty uses the inferior one instead of her fully evolved one.
That's actually a good point. Why shouldn't she use Starmie more?
Because Misty is stupid. It's the same girl that didn't, when Team Rocket was attacking the Pokemon Center, instead of using her stronger Pokemon, she sends out Goldeen. Whoops.
I get
the sooner people realize that Misty is just...
I'm guessing it would just be easier to hold on to for everyone.
Don't you see, guys? Staryu's more marketable than Starmie.
The point is, Misty is just as dumb as Ash.
I just wish
I'd argue more dumb because Ash eventually comes.
Ash actually does stuff. Misty just stands in the background.
Honestly, I'm more bothered by the fact that she's really mean to Ash, especially in the early episodes.
I'll just say this.
Well, to be fair, he stole her bike. A random kid just stole something. It was like,
I get that, but that can be an excuse for everything.
Not only that, but he was doing it to save Pikachu's life.
Oh yeah, of course. But she's completely on the radar. It's just like, okay, I'm out here fishing. Random kid steals my bike. No explanation, nothing, and destroys it as a result.
I'll just say this: Misty is kind of frustrating, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. She would have been beaten if Pikachu had just faced her during that gym battle.
True.
But anyway, back to the plot. Essentially, the heroes manage to make it through the storm into the eye, and they make it to the fortress, and they're in. Oh, also Team Rocket miraculously survive as well. So, here we are at the island, and there's that mysterious coated woman.
I want to say, by the way, so much for Mewtwo's storm being a test for that only the strongest race can surpass. Jesse and James were able to get through it accidentally.
Jesse and James are cockroaches. They'll survive anything.
But Des, think about it. Like you said, this is Mewtwo's plan. But according to his plan, Jesse and James are amongst the strongest. Like,
sure. No. Jesse James survived a hurricane caused by a Gyarados. They're fine.
Oh,
Well,
by the way, in the
again,
meantime,
maybe they are the strongest.
oh, and by the way, in the meantime, Mew is just kind of flying around being cute, and that's it, really.
Oh yeah, that's
so
right.
appar-
Mew's in this
apparently-
movie.
So here's a fun fact: the reason why Mew was eyeing Jessie, but it's more clear in the remake, it's because it was thinking of Jessie's mom who saw her and died. It's a messed up backstory. Yeah,
Mew
it's
is
gotta be
kind of a messed up being when you think about it. Which is why I'm. But don't worry, Shuri. I'll make sure to name Mew after you in my playthrough of Pokemon Yellow, since it's a cat. Anyways, so yeah, let's go to dinner. There's a dinner feast there being held where all the Pokemon
And we're
are
introduced
hanging
to
out.
the other trainers who I don't think are giving names.
I feel like they were, but I'll admit I can't remember them. And
They were not given names, no. Neither in both versions.
Their Pokemon were, but not them.
Yeah, which is,
Well, that's the problem, Shiro. They were given wrong names, but I'll get into it.
Uh-oh. Actually, yeah, go ahead.
Well, in the 4Kids version, that trainer that's dressed in red, he says, in the 4Kids version, they say, it was easy. These storm winds are a piece of cake for Pidgeotto, even though it's a Pidgeot. It's like... later on, there's also a point where they call Cypher Alakazam.
Wait,
I'm not even good.
I don't
They
recall
get-
yes,
him call-
yeah. It's like I don't know why they made that mistake, but going on there, once every character is assembled, they're introduced to Mewtwo. It's like he's the mastermind, and also that mysterious woman was actually Nurse Joy, which Brock knew from the beginning.
And
but
Mewtwo
the
just
reason
lets her
why-
go there for some reason.
Because she's outlived her usefulness.
Yeah, not just that.
He needed her because of her knowledge of Pokemon and whatnot.
There's a line that I love where there's that water Pokemon guy. The moment Mewtwo shows up, his immediate reaction is, "A Pokemon cannot be a Pokemon master." Wow, that's Pokemonist of you, right there. Why can't Pokemon be Pokemon masters?
Because a Pokemon training another Pokemon into battles feels a bit unorthodox.
Come to think of it, why can't we catch Pokemon after they fade?
Because that would be
Jovah.
too easy.
Jovah, trust me, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. you don't want to. Just leave it alone, man. Leave it.
So anyway,
Carry on.
Mewtwo shows up and wrecks Rhyhorn and Gyarados.
Yes.
Yeah, just to show off his big dick energy.
Basically, yeah. Not just that, Deji. Well, I love Mewtwo's extending hand animation during those bits. Like, you can easily so much take a screenshot out of that and put in a caption for a meme. Bitch, please.
Meanwhile, Team Rocket have come across the cloning room.
Yes.
And
and
wouldn't
I
you
love...
know, Meowth gets grabbed by the machine, which, it just takes a hair. But honestly, I have to wonder, was that machine supposed to take him all in and pull him apart? Because...
I don't even know, to be honest with you. What I love about it is that Mewtwo apparently perfected the cloning process that not Dr. Tenma couldn't perfect, because not only is the cloning made instantaneously, Meowth is perfectly capable of surviving the cloning process, whereas in the human methods, only Mewtwo was able to survive the cloning process.
Not only that, but the clones are apparently more powerful than the originals.
That being said, there's one particular thing in that scene that really is interesting. Jessie, for no real reason, sits her butt down in a console full of buttons. Yes, that's a great sit down, perfect place. And then it activates a recording by not Dr. Tenma, where he's talking about, but for some reason, the creature got out of control and destroyed the laboratory. When were you able to record this?
You died almost instantaneously.
Guys,
when did you record it?
Think about it, guys.
Well, we didn't see when he died. We didn't see the body, so a lot could have happened.
Maybe he survived and left a recording behind.
No, but he didn't, because his last line in that recording were his last words on screen.
Yeah, that is true. That is true too. In the recording, the last words of the recording are, "We wanted to create the most powerful Pokemon," and there he is, which is also the last thing he says before Mewtwo goes kaboom. So, yeah.
And you can hear people running and screaming in the background, so it's like, no. When did you record this, sir?
Maybe I guess he recorded it right there and then, but then
maybe
he
he
saw
asked
Mewtwo
Mewtwo
about to make his move, he decided, well, crap, I better include this in the recording and hope that Mewtwo decides to make a new laboratory, which he will then install into the computer itself, which will play it.
Not how and why, and how did the recording survive the explosion?
Betamax.
Okay, sure. Carry on.
Oh god, it just raises too many questions.
Basically,
So anyway, we get this freaky scene where the clones of Charizard, Ivysaur, and Blastoise wake up, and it's actually something that would not look out of place in an H.R. Geiger bit.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
Looks neat, so they come lumbering out. Mewtwo brings them and basically wants to challenge the trainers' Blastoise, Ivysaur, and Charizard respectively.
Mm-hmm.
And they pretty much get curb stomped. Which, if you'll allow me to move ahead a bit, so they get curb stomped the first time, but then the next time they fight, they're on more even grounds. Like, what happened?
Well,
did the original?
Well, to be fair, Jovah, they actually do explain that. Mew provokes Mewtwo saying, "Oh, you don't have anything to prove just because you have all those special powers and shit." And then Mewtwo's like, "My clones don't need their powers to prove their worth." And then he literally says, "I'm gonna block every one of the Pokemon special powers with my psychic powers."
Oh, true. I get that. No, I remember that. But all the same, even physically, we saw them curb stomp them. The Charizard battle used more physical attacks than special ones anyway. So why is it that now they're able to fight on common ground? Unless the bigger strength was also part of their superpowers?
Because we have to shove the anti-violence message on your throat.
I'll be quite honest. If I were making this movie, and I'm talking about the original, I have not seen the remake.
Pick up a pen then.
Here's what I would have done. Have the fights at the very least go more evenly, because let's be honest, aside from the Charizard one, they pretty much end incredibly quickly, and the
Sorry, gotta make that main character look good, or lose like a champ.
And after that, Mewtwo suddenly creates Mewtwo balls out of freaking thin air and starts capturing Pokemon. Okay, can I get into this, please? Okay, this is what I like to call lazy writer psychic powers. This is the kind of thing where, this character has psychic powers. That means this character can literally materialize anything into existence I
don't think he materializes them. I think he had them already made, but they're on standby. Considering the factory that's underneath.
Well, and if I recall correctly, the balls do come... I think the balls do come rising out of a gap here. Though I think either way we can agree, Sabrina would be calling bullcrap on this.
Yeah, because remember, it's not even just the balls. Because it's not even just the balls. Remember, he uses it for a lot of stuff that doesn't involve what actual psychic powers are like. But whatever, go on.
Come to think of it kind of was a missed opportunity not to include Sabrina in this movie now that I think about it.
It was also a missed opportunity not to have Giovanni more involved, but
yeah, true. We should have included more of Ash's father.
It's not his dad.
Hasn't been
Professor Kukui is his dad.
That would mean that his dad traveled halfway across the world just to escape child support.
My fan theory is better than yours.
And that's why Ash lives with him in Sun and Moon.
By the way,
anyway,
but one thing that I would like to mention as well, when Mewtwo starts hunting all the Pokemon, we also have what is, without a doubt, the greatest voice clip ever in an animated film. Go! dugong. No, I'm not kidding. Like one of the Pokemon that gets captured by Mewtwo by the trainers is the dugong, and they literally show a shot of him literally going go. Like when you watch it out of context, it just sounds funny.
Anyway, but yeah, the Pokemon are getting nabbed up by the dozens here. Even Pikachu, who, as anyone knows, does not like being in the ball.
Oh no, but this is the smartest thing Ash did. He was like, okay, let me just put my Pokemon in their Pokeballs. Mewtwo had a contingency plan for that.
Yeah, but Shadow
He
Ball
tried, okay?
Yeah, give Gash credit. He was the smartest one in that regard. The Shadow Balls literally then take the Pokeballs in it. So it's a Pokeball within a Pokeball.
And then as Pikachu starts running across that stairway thingy, Shiro, if you asked something when we watched the movie about that stairway that Pikachu is running on. Why don't you ask your thing?
No, it wasn't really. It was just like, are those even stairs or are they decoration? I don't actually know. Because they look too smooth to be stairs, and
I think it's supposed to be a slide or something for them to come down.
Okay. Here's what it was. Remember, this movie operates on rule of cool above all else, so obviously they needed that so that Mewtwo would look all the cooler visually when going down for that light when he shows up for the first time among the trainers. See? That's why.
Of course.
Rule of cool, Jovah. Rule of cool.
Anyway, Ash grabs onto the ball that Pikachu is zapped up into and gets taken to a cloning machine, which, actually, come to think of it, makes me wonder, if that machine had grabbed one of Ash's hairs, would that have created Red?
No, it created Richie. We just never saw him on screen.
Oh my god.
The perfect clone. Speaking of, apparently those hands in that machine, those are apparently the skeletons of the dead scientist. Which is like, no.
Whoa! Ho! Dang. Yeah, actually, now that... Oh my god, yeah, Deji is right. I remember. I don't remember which lore bit that's mentioned from, but yeah, apparently those skeletal-looking things are made from the dead remains.
Apparently, I remember I showed you guys the tweet. Like, this was a couple years ago. Look, it was
that's nasty.
That's kind of morbid, needlessly morbid for this.
Well, regardless, Pikachu gets captured,
hey, Mewtwo had to get those materials from somewhere, guys. He's not made of money.
Regardless, Pikachu gets captured, but Ash, of course, being the bold hero, saves him before he gets brought into the cloning machine thing.
Well, Pikachu was already cloned.
Well, sure,
he just
but
rescued him.
Well, sure, you get my point, though. He rescues him, basically.
Well, speaking about your real cool thing, yeah, the cloning machine is not explained well. Like, does it need your hair, or does it scan the contents of the Pokeball? And again, with however that machine looks like it's supposed to work, it's hard to tell how it's supposed to properly work.
Maybe it's multi-purpose. I don't know.
And again, I have to wonder, if it had gotten Ash's DNA, would it have created a superior clone of him?
Yeah, it's Richie. We already established this.
Yes, Rich, yes. During that part where Ash is trying to get out of the Pokemon machine and the things are holding him, they actually grabbed one of his hairs and secretly made Richie. And that's Richie's origins.
My god.
Now, why doesn't Richie have those tattoo things that the other clones have? I don't know.
Don't you see? It's what's able to differentiate him, because for some reason all the clones have either weird markings or differences in their facial patterns to differentiate themselves. Well, not all the clones, but most of them.
Oh no, the government is after us with the cloning talks.
Oh god.
Jesus. Look, we haven't forgotten Dolly the sheep, alright?
But yeah, next, of course, all the cloning machine goes haywire and basically explodes, and as a result, all the original Pokemon are freed. Which means Ash will now lead all the original Pokemon into battle, and of course this starts the classic running gag of Ash ramming into something in every movie. In this case, Mewtwo.
Hey. Okay, let me put it this way. There's a reason why Mewtwo block. He saw what he's had a future vision of what Ash can do. It's like, nope.
Not just that. What I love about it is how Ash literally tries to punch Mewtwo. What did you think was gonna happen, you moron? You should have already seen for yourself that that would be useless to try.
Okay, Captain Obvious. Since you're so smart, what would you do?
Me? If I was in that situation, I would just surrender because it's a lost fight.
You're a coward, and that's why.
That's why you're not the protagonist.
And that's why he's the first one to sell NTFs here.
Here's what I would have done, guys. I would have had the literal army of Pokemon behind me, all converge attacks on the one legendary. Because sure, he may be a legendary, but I'm pretty sure he couldn't take, what looked to be hundreds of Pokemon ganging up on him at once.
Okay, but what was stopping Mewtwo from using the clones as a shield?
Well, it's simple. They may be fast, but they're not fast enough to get right in front of him.
Yes, they are. They established the Charizard one is just faster than Ash's Charizard.
They're also right next to him.
Yeah.
Well, honestly,
all they have to do is step in front.
No, but seriously, though, I mean, then again, you have some attacks that are literally faster than the speed of light. And again, there was enough that they could have ganged up on Mewtwo, at least enough to get enough damage in on him.
Regardless, what I love about it is that Mew suddenly shows up and saves Ash with the power of bubbles, and we get another sneak peek into Gen 2 because Mewtwo starts throwing Shadow Balls at Mew.
Yep, one of which hits Mew, only for it to come rocketing back to knock Mewtwo right into the bleachers.
Yes, and Mewtwo, and that's the moment where things once again diverge incredibly depending on which version you're watching.
Oh boy, here we go. So, as you may know, from the English dub, Mew at first does not want to fight so lethally. That said, he does argue the case for why supposedly it would be more fair for the clones to not use their superpowers. And mind you, those superpowers are apparently nowhere to be found in Mewtwo Return, so I don't even know what those superpowers were supposed to be, but whatever. Supposedly this will be more of a fair fight, and I guess technically...
Mew suggests that they shouldn't fight at all.
Well, technically what he says, Jovah, the actual dialogue is, you don't prove anything by possessing all those special powers. The true strength of a Pokemon is in the heart. Basically, it's just being all peace... for peace and shit. Like dude, who cares how powerful you are? Basically, a message of peace from him to Mewtwo, basically.
I'll admit, that kind of personality I feel fits Mew enough, you know. Mew seems like that kind of legendary Pokemon who would technically be about it.
I disagree, but I'll get to that in a minute.
Not so much with the Japanese version. Remember how I mentioned how Mewtwo wants to try and take out the originals with his clones? Well, Pedro, why don't you share with our audience how Mew is in the Japanese?
In the Japanese version, Mewtwo says pretty much the same thing. He's all like, "Okay, time to figure out. Like we the copies are much more powerful than the originals." And then Mew literally says, and I quote, "No matter how much you attack and clash against us, the real ones won't lose to copies."
Even though they lost in the first place.
So Mew basically...
They were caught off guard, but now that they know what to expect, they'll win because they have heart.
So basically, the Japanese version, Mew basically just goes, "Come at me, bro." Like...
Oh, but it gets even better. He's also apparently a eugenicist hierarchy kind of guy who pretty much wants to wipe out the clones himself.
You're just fucking dipshit clones. We will never lose to you. Like, okay, I actually will say, this is actually one thing where I'll actually disagree. I actually do like the fact that they don't go for the cliche thing and have one be in the right and one be in the wrong, where they actually have both. They just have two perspectives that... like, instead of making it a black and white scenario where we're clearly supposed to side with Mew, instead both of them are wrong, and it's Ash who tells you have to stop. Period. Because both of you are wrong in each of your motivations. So I actually
there is one thing I do hate about this fight, and it kind of really undermines the entire franchise as a whole. And I'm pretty sure it makes more sense in Japanese. Correct me if I'm wrong. The whole Pokemon aren't meant to fight, not like this. It's like, what? No,
okay, the message, the anti-violence message is still in the Japanese version, Deji. It's just worded differently. Talk about it a bit how it's spoken in the English version. In the meantime, I'll watch the Japanese version while you guys say it. Go ahead.
Because the whole point is everyone bonds with their Pokemon in order to be the strongest. How? It's Pokedex entries established that there are some wild Pokemon that eat others. It's like violence is wrong. No.
Ironically enough, you could argue that Pokemon being owned by trainers makes them tamed better so that they don't kill other Pokemons.
Yes, there are bad people out there, but there are also people who treat Pokemon as friends. It's kind of like the same issue I have with Black and White story, where
Black and White does the same thing too.
It's like, man, people misuse Pokemon, which is true. There are some that are there, but even though most of the villains in the franchise normally do care about their own Pokemon, but it's at the same time where it's like, oh no, the whole Pokemon should be free and whatnot. Yeah, that was all BS. But it makes for an interesting conversation, but who cares?
There's nothing wrong with an anti-violence message, of course. It's just that this is not really the right franchise to do it in.
Especially when they profit off glorified cockfights.
Well, Shiro, yes? Go ahead.
But you can. The line is right there.
Not like this.
Yeah, not like this. People seem to ignore that latter half. There's a difference between fighting for sport and fighting for blood sport.
Yeah,
they could have taken that angle.
It's something that should have been worded better.
Yeah.
Well,
The whole fighting is wrong period doesn't work with this franchise, I agree. But when you look at the line and it says they're not meant to fight not like this, then you realize, we could have done something very different and it would have still worked, but they probably wouldn't have had the guts to do it. Let's be honest with that one.
In the meantime, here's what the Japanese version says. Oh, sorry. No,
sure, you mentioned you had a point you wanted to dry on with Mew.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Go ahead, Shiro. Yeah, go ahead.
Because something I've always, even I've seen this movie quite a few times, something that always didn't make sense to me was Mew's, Meowth's translation of Mew's dialogue. Because throughout the movie, we see Mew on screen constantly being a little shit and just treating everything as a game. They look like they're having fun whenever we see them. They're clearly up for a fight. The Japanese version makes a lot more sense. I don't understand, their attitude coupled with that speech in English just doesn't make sense to me, and it never has.
It's simple, Shiro. 4Kids wanted the kids to actually have a proper right side to root for in this conflict. Because this is why I really appreciate the Japanese writers for genuinely trying to make both of them flawed. So it's Ash that actually has to properly show them, no, you guys should stop fighting because both of your motivations are wrong. And
then he gets turned into stone.
We'll get to it. Let me just go for how they phrase it in the Japanese version. In the Japanese version, here's how it is. Remember the whole Pokemon are meant to fight? Not like this. Here's what Joy says in the Japanese version. What's with this fight? Whether they're the real ones or copies, they're all alive. So basically, and the other one says they're all living beings. Even if they were created, they're still alive as living beings. Redundancy much? Originals and copies. They're both equal living beings. So basically, it's still an anti-violence man. They're just worded. They just take the more they're all living beings angle. But it still basically boils down to the same don't allow cockfights message basically.
Yeah. Anyway, so Ash says enough is enough. Runs into the final attack that Mew and Mewtwo has. Gets turned into stone.
But
don't worry, this will work out in the end.
You missed one of my favorite parts of the English dub, Dej.
What?
The new song that 4Kids added when Ash looks at all the Pokemon fighting. Brother, my brother.
Dude, at least they didn't use that one random song sung by that one girl. I was like, what the hell does this have to do with
I love that moment because the song is just so heavy-handed. Tell me what we're fighting for. We got to do this one. We should love one.
I feel like that song is based off of another actual pop song.
If I remember correctly, that song was actually made for the movie, but 4Kids hired a band to make it.
Oh, I know, but like the melody and lyrics literally sound like a song that I've heard outside of Pokemon, but whatever.
Well, it's a typical, let's all love each other type of song, basically.
Anyway, so yeah, Ash gets turned to stone, and the Pokemon are sad about this.
Yes, and now we know why 4Kids went out of the. Oh yeah, another thing that I forgot to mention regarding the Japanese version, in the English dub of the uncut origin, Amber says to Mewtwo, "Don't worry. My father once said that the Pokemon tears are full of life." There you go, another attempt by 4Kids to foreshadow the whole tears give life thing. But yeah, in the Japanese version, the whole Pokemon tears revive Ash thing comes out of freaking nowhere. There's no foreshadowing.
If this is what happens, then boy, everyone who got petrified by what's that Gen 6 Pokemon? The Y? Yveltal.
Oh, Yveltal.
Yeah, Yveltal. I'm sure what people need to do is gather a whole bunch of Pokemon and make them cry. They'll be petrified.
Yeah, to my knowledge, audience, this has never come back. The whole Pokemon tears being able to bring life back.
Don't worry, when we get to the
Yveltal
movie, the exact opposite happens to Pikachu.
No, not just that. I want to mention something. A lot of people like to rag on the anti-violence message, and they should. But one thing that people usually don't bring up when discussing the ending of this movie is, okay, so what exactly are you trying to tell me here, movie? What are you exactly trying to tell the kids watching? Because let's not
the whole point is that Mewtwo is meant to learn, okay, it's not about a blood or whatnot. It's more like you have to find your own purpose in life, no matter where you originated from.
No, I get that.
But I feel like that's like the whole. It kind of undermines the value about fighting wrong.
No, I get that, Edge, but that's not what I was trying to get at, though. What I was trying to get at is that, okay, so what are you trying to tell kids with this tears of life thing, that if a kid cries hard enough, his loved ones will come back from the grave? Like, it's just a very stupid Deus Ex Machina in general. Here's what I would have done: have Ash actually die right here. And I know that will never happen because we would lose the franchise, but
come on, we could have easily
what is
brought
wrong
up
with
a new
people wanting
protagonist.
this guy to die? Y'all are psychotic.
No. Let me finish, though. Imagine how much more powerful the message would have come if it's because of the regret of their conflicts causing this boy to die, and that's what brings them out of their stupor, and they realize that they're wrong and they should stop. Like, that would have been a more powerful. I know they wouldn't.
I feel like if it was someone else, a character that they made just for the movie, probably would have been better instead of Ash. But that's
sure.
Obviously, to be fair, there are plenty of Pokemon who can now revive people from death. So yeah, go ahead and kill him.
Don't worry. Don't worry. This isn't the first time where he dies. We'll get some more of this.
It also showed Mewtwo's final speech about how I know now that it's not that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant.
God,
hold on, let me finish.
No.
I know now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are, which is a great lesson. I just wish the movie would actually focus on that instead of the stupid anti-violence crap.
Hey, Pedro, here's a better thing. I would have liked it the movie actually did remember it instead of having everyone forget the message in the end.
Yes. This basically means that nobody learns anything in this movie.
So basically, audience, Mewtwo literally goes flying with the clones elsewhere and decides, okay, everyone, time to forget your message. And then
But
he
not only that.
Oh, go on, Troy.
Oh, no, you finish first.
Not only that, he also warps them right back to the dock and everything.
That's a good segue to what I wanted to say. Okay, he sends them back there. So wouldn't they all still retain the memories of everything up to that point? You know, like, for example, why they were there in the first place?
Yeah.
Where they needed to go? You know, maybe you should have erased their memories before the invitations were received, maybe? You know,
Apparently they conveniently forgot about the invitation.
Is everybody just gonna leave? It's like, oh, we were supposed to go to this place, but I guess we're not now.
Not only that, while they get warped back to the dock, Team Rocket literally get warped back to the beginning of the movie. Back on that little island. And come to think of it, how did Ash and Company even get off that island?
Shut up, that's how.
Yeah, basically. I actually do find interesting what the speech Mewtwo gives in...
Oh my god, I just realized this is the exact same ending as Wonder Woman 84. I know that's low-hanging fruit, but it kind of feels like that.
I will still argue that, no, the people did not forget that event because there's nothing saying that they did, unlike this.
Here's what Mewtwo says in the Japanese version. It's true that you're a Pokemon who exists just like I do. He's referring to Mew when he says this. It might be best if no one knew of this incident. Why? It might be best to forget this. Why, Mewtwo? Why is it best that people forget this?
I mean,
exactly.
Gee, it's
Maybe
almost
so
like
the clones could live in peace.
No, here's the real reason, Shiroi. We don't want the characters in the show to acknowledge the movie, so we're going to make them conveniently forget all this crap, basically.
Which is funny because that was later rectified in Mewtwo Returns, which I can't help but wonder if Mewtwo Returns was made as about to, realize the backlash, because there was backlash to that ending. Like I said, this movie may be enjoyable to watch, but it has a truckload of problems no matter which dub you're looking at.
Yeah, when you get right down to it, supposedly, you can only the audience watching is supposed to learn something. None of the characters actually learn anything, really, because they forget all about it.
What are you telling me, movie? That every time I play your games, I'm doing some evil deed? Oh no, every time I boot up my copy of Pokemon Yellow, I'm killing the environment by having Pikachu walk around behind me. I am enslaving them. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, I am absolutely a monster, forcing Pokemon to Gigantamax and Dynamax. In Pokemon Gen 6, I'm totally a monster having the Mega Evolve. Don't you see? The monster is us. The monster is you, Shiroi. The monster is you, Pedro.
Yes,
the monster
we're
is
all
you,
monsters.
Deji. We're all monsters. We're instruments of destruction, using Pokemon to our
By the
every
way-
will and whim.
By the way,
Jovah,
I forgot
breathe.
to address something Shiroi said earlier. That's the thing, Shiroi. As demonstrated by the Japanese dialogue of the anti-violence scene, in the anti-violence scene, they don't even make any kind of distinction. They just say, they're living beings, they need to stop fighting, because fighting is bad. So it's the
Oh,
4Kids
God.
version that actually does have that one not like this thing. But again, regardless, even if the 4Kids version does have that one bit which he says not like this, the movie never really makes it clear that that's what it's trying to get at. So it's just one of those cases where, for all we know, maybe that not like this wasn't even that. Maybe that wasn't even the intention by 4Kids. Maybe that was just thrown in there just because.
One other fun fact. The scene where Ash turns to stone and Misty says, "Oh no!" Originally, she was supposed to say, "My bike."
Wait, really?
Yes.
Let me see.
Where did-
In the
What?
4Kids scene, it was Misty's voice actress. She went on record saying that. It was
let me-
Is that like a
I'm
blue-
glad that they didn't, because that would have ruined the scene.
Let me see what she says in the Japanese version. Now I'm curious.
She probably said "Oh no" as well
Let's just talk about what she was originally supposed to say.
in the
Oh, I get it.
Japanese,
What was that?
in the 4Kids dub.
I get it, but I'm still curious.
Anyway, though, where is that with that?
But yeah, that's Pokemon the first movie.
Oh boy.
What?
So,
An entertaining.
I want us to give our two quick segments. One, favorite, most disappointing character in this movie for you. Shiro, go first.
I'm guessing.
I don't know.
I'm guessing Mew because of because you didn't like what 4Kids revised in his dialogue.
Well, no, because I only recently found that. I guess
Okay.
Team Rocket, because they don't really add anything.
This is going to be a running gag throughout the rest of these movies, I assure you.
Oh, great.
So we're gonna have like
But
a
yeah,
least
so Team
favorite-
Rocket.
All right, Pedro, you.
For me, the most disappointing character, I think it will have to be. I guess. No, I don't want to. I'm actually having trouble deciding between. I guess I'll go with what I was suggesting. No, I'm gonna go with.
Jesus Christ, get on with it, man.
Well, I was about to mention it. Like, if it's English version, Mew. If it's Japanese version, then Mewtwo. Right, there you go.
Oh,
All right, Jovah.
I guess it's just the generic new Pokemon trainer characters who never came back because they're cannon fodder at best.
Well, Jovah, that guy cannot tell a Pidgeot from a Pidgeotto, so how good of a trainer can he be?
Look, Team Rocket can't tell the difference between a Cypher and an Alakazam.
Well, yeah, but they're supposed to be idiots. The show establishes them as idiots. But they try to pose that guy as one of the greatest trainers because he was able to survive Mewtwo Storm intentionally.
And yet he goes out the earliest against the clones.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not even fighting.
But
me,
Deji,
I'm gonna say it, Brock. No, Misty.
Oh.
She barely did anything in this.
Okay.
No, she did nothing, period.
Yeah, I was gonna. Misty
know
did
what?
less than Brock.
You know what? Fair enough, but don't go dissing my man Brock. He
Look,
did his
Deji,
best
at
this
least
movie.
Brock. Look, Deji, at least Brock caught Nurse Joy as she was falling.
Hell,
Well,
Brock
after-
sort of
after-
solved the
after-
mystery anyway.
After Mewtwo let go of her mind control and shit like that. That's more than what Misty did.
Yeah, his scent powers were really useful.
I guess to be fair, Misty's gonna make up for that in Pokemon 2000.
I'll get into that. No.
All right,
Hey,
favorite character,
she's-
Jovah, you go first.
Favorite character? No, not the Dragonite. I guess Mew and Mewtwo. I like their dynamic in either dub.
All right.
And, it's neat to see Mew doing his thing here and there. I don't feel like he's necessarily a downright goody two-shoes in the English dub because he still wants to fight. It just seems to be more like about where he argues that it's not fair. Whereas in the Japanese dub, I get it, They definitely want to toughen him up and go against the norm. Like, oh, even though he's cutesy looking, he can be vicious and whatnot. But I don't know, something about the execution just feels duller to me, honestly.
I appreciate the attempt at the moral ambiguity when it comes to the conflict. Neither side is correct necessarily.
I don't feel like either side is necessarily correct either in the English dub. I guess it just feels like Mew's personality is more natural in the English dub rather than the Japanese dub. But whatever. My favorite characters in this are Mew and Mewtwo.
Sure.
All
For
right.
me, sorry, go ahead.
Go on.
For me, it's like if it's the Japanese version, my favorite is definitely Mewtwo because it's the combined.
Wait, I thought you
with
said he was your least favorite.
Yeah,
in
you
the-
did.
in the Japanese version. That's right. Sorry, in the English. Sorry, in the English version. Sorry.
There we go.
I screwed up my dubs. The basic point is yes, he's my favorite in the Japanese version because I get to see the full backstory, which allows me to get to know him a lot more. And as a result, the payoff for his character arc feels a lot more satisfying and earned. So it works really well there. So Mewtwo is without a doubt the main character of this movie and is the one that has the proper character arc, and it works relatively well. I just wish that would have been the entire focus of the movie instead of also trying to throw this really tone-deaf anti-violence message that wasn't even necessary. Carry on. That's my favorite character. Yeah, your favorite character, Shirei?
Mewtwo.
Mewtwo. Okay.
For the same reasons. He's the title character. He better be the best one there. So, yeah.
Get ready for Dan Green Mewtwo, Shiroi.
Oh boy, I probably should have said only one of you could pick one. Okay. All right. So the only good character left is Ash. Okay, good.
So Ash was your favorite of this
Yes,
movie?
because you guys stole everyone else.
Well, I would have said.
Okay, so what's your reasoning for Ash?
Because he's the only one that does anything. Everyone else is either useless or just stands around.
True,
he at least tries to do something. And like I said, if Mewtwo didn't shield himself, you know for a fact Ash would have just wrecked him.
Yes, because
this is the same guy that can lift up a Larvitar on his arms and carry it like nothing.
Those are supposed to be very heavy for lore reasons.
And that one hippopotamus Pokemon bit his head, and he was like, yeah, I feel nothing. And he can also lift up the evolved form of Cosmog. I'm telling you, that boy is not human.
Alright.
Maybe he's a genetic research project.
Maybe the real Ash had died in that cloning device, and what we're following is a clone.
Oh my god, so that's why Giovanni formed it, so that his son could be brought back to life.
We wanted to create the most powerful human on the planet. And there he is.
So, now
in a coma, though?
Shut up. He already won the league. He's not the whole coma thing is BS.
Alright, go ahead.
I'm surprised you knew about the coma one, Shiroi.
Everybody knows about the coma theory.
Dude, it's as common as the truth about the Rugrats. We're not getting into that here.
Yeah, let's move on.
But yeah, that was Mewtwo Strikes Back. Final thoughts and score, Jovah.
Okay. It's a mess. But it's a fun mess. If you're a Pokemon fan, definitely check this out. If you aren't a Pokemon fan, what the heck, give it a look here and there. It's a good enough start to get you into the feel of Pokemon despite the goddamn anti-violence message, which, honestly, okay, it works better in the English dub, but either way, they could have worded it far, far, far better. That said, the new Pokemon designs are cool. Mewtwo is cool. Runs on the rule of cool. I'm gonna definitely rate this, though, as a more style over substance movie. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It passes, but basically on the rule of cool and nothing more. There is much better, but there will also be much worse to come.
Alright, Shiro.
Yes,
I was also typing your name on making the list as well, sorry. I paused.
No, it's okay. But no, I mean, I will still say I enjoy this movie despite how ridiculous it is. Mostly due to nostalgia. Plus, it's not really that bad of a watch, to be honest.
Nah.
No, it's enjoyable enough.
We certainly make fun of it, but I don't feel like we hate it.
I loved watching this movie alternating between both audio tracks, so I can make fun of the differences and just enjoy the silliness. So
it was nice getting the context for those missing 10 minutes, which I feel do add more.
Yes,
because instead, especially to our title character, because we actually know where his feelings when he wakes up comes from, but without it, he just seems like he's angry for almost no reason.
Well, to be fair, there is a reason even in the 4Kids version that, like, the scientists are being incredibly mean to him, and he's like, "This is all I'm about. I'm just a lab rat." And then he gets angry at it and he even says, "These humans, they don't care about me." So he does have a reason. It's just that the extended opening gives even more weight to his thing.
I mean, his feelings upon waking up where he feels sad and doesn't know why. It's like, oh, we actually know why. But we don't have that in this version. So the 10 minutes are really worth a watch, I would say.
That's why I really recommend everybody out there search Pokemon the first movie, uncut, widescreen by Dark Dream torrent. You'll be able to find it. It's a great fan edit that gives us the English dub that we should have gotten, basically.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the characters most of them don't really do much, but again, like it's fine. It's not great. It exists. It's fun. It's a mess, like Jovah said, but I'm probably gonna watch it again.
Oh yeah,
at some point.
It is the fun kind of mess.
I have to ask Shirai.
So what's your score? What before she goes
in news? Your thoughts on the English soundtrack, by the way?
Oh, the English soundtrack?
Brother,
the Coney music.
The
Coney music is great. But anyway, they're really going for it with the full kids ham, and I really appreciate that. But no, my score. 7. There we go.
Right.
Oh, wow. Okay then.
Pedro?
My
thoughts. Again, it's a movie that has really good ideas. It just doesn't know what to do with them. Mewtwo's character arc works relatively well. And I just wish that would have been the primary focus of the movie. But they share it with a lot of other stuff, like there's the anti-violence message that comes out of nowhere, and just feels like, why is this even here, regardless of which version you're watching, because the Japanese version tries to phrase it as, oh, they're living beings and this shouldn't be like but it still boils down to the same shit.
Arguably even more ham-fisted than the Japanese dub, because at least the English dub tries to differentiate the means of fighting. And I will give 4Kids the benefit of the doubt that if they could have, they would have put in more dialogue, but you know the rules with dubbing more often than not. You gotta put in dialogue that fits the runtime of the original. So there was only so much they could add.
Which is interesting because in the fourth movie they actually commissioned extra scenes to be made by OLM, but
kudos to them for that.
Well, we'll get to that. The point is, yeah, like I said, I don't particularly care much for the English dub because I don't like how it dumbed down some things. So I'll actually prefer to watch this in Japanese. In Japanese with subtitles is to me the definitive way of watching this movie, because yes, some things are better in the English version, like they actually foreshadow the tears crap. But honestly, even with the foreshadowing, that Tears of Life thing just doesn't work, and it's just a cop out to revive Ash, really, when you get right down to it.
I do wonder. Do you think it would have been better if they had committed to that and had at least kept it as part of the canon, as opposed to just never mentioning it again, making it even more of a cop-out for this particular scene?
Oh no, the whole, nobody must remember this crap, that's stupid, regardless of version.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's probably the worst scene in the entire movie.
Well, yeah, the movie basically pulls a Sonic 06 and makes
wasted all our time on a PS.
Crap! We should have had favorite. We'll do it next time.
Well, regardless, they basically render everything pointless, and as a result, like The characters don't remember anything, so whatever.
So my question is this, though. Would you rather that they kept in the tears thing in the lore, at least? So that it doesn't come off as such a cop-out in hindsight? Or do you feel that it's best that it only happened here, regardless of the fact that that makes it even more of a cop-out?
Well, Pokemon is a retcon nightmare by its own nature, so sure, why not start including this crap in the lore as well? I mean, why not, right? Sure, but they didn't, so...
What's your score?
Let me just finish. I actually have one more thing to say. I actually really appreciated the Japanese writers for not falling into the trap of making one of the two sides, Mewtwo versus Mew thing, the clear, correct one we're supposed to root for, because and so I appreciate the writers for having the balls to have both of the title characters in the wrong. Because it would have been so tempting not to do so, but in a kids movie, so I appreciate that. So again, it's a movie that is frustrating because it has some really, really good ideas, but it doesn't really know how to execute them properly. The only thing that executes somewhat properly is Mewtwo's character arc, but even that arc suffers because of it's mixed with all this other crap that doesn't work and bogs it down. It's frustrating. It's a very frustrating movie because it has everything it needs to be a great movie, but the writers lost the plot somewhere. My score, I'll give it a 6. Why not? Just because, again. Okay. Let me put it like this: for the Japanese version, I'll give it a 6. For the English version, I'll give it a 4.5.
I'm counting it as a 6. You already said it first. It don't matter.
So, Dej, I guess that just leaves you.
Alright. Pokemon, the first movie, is a pretty confusing film. Like you guys have said, it had interesting ideas, but unfortunately I feel like the plot fell flat in what it was trying to convey in the message. Because, yes, the entire plot with the Japanese side, and to some extent the 4Kids version, is Mewtwo's existential crisis, and he learns to become what the meaning of life is, as corny as it sounds to say it out loud.
Well, thank goodness that stopped his rampage on mankind and trying to take over the world.
Okay, so the Japanese version, he just wants to get rid of all humanity and Pokemon, so clones can reign free. Unfortunately, and with the hindsight of future movies and specials, that plan would have backfired easily. Especially since, Giovanni is still after him, and we find out, he had a plan.
And, it's not like there'll be a future Pokemon movie that has Mewtwo back, which has plenty of people hyping it, only to be resulting in massive disappointment when it turns out to be a completely different Mewtwo and completely excuse the message of it.
Apparently, that was due to the reason why I had to choose a different Mewtwo was due to some copyright law or something like that, because they didn't own that particular Mewtwo. It was another studio. It's confusing. Yeah. That's the only reason why they brought him back in Europe. That's the only reason why they brought...
The Gene Sect movie, sure, the Gene Sect movie.
I will definitely say that Philip Barley is by far the best English Mewtwo. Philip Barley's performance in this movie is really great.
I'm surprised hearing that come from a big Dan Green fan like you.
Well, Jovah, don't get me wrong, I love Dan Green as much as the next guy, but Dan is good for hammy characters, whereas Mewtwo's character requires an actor that is more capable of nuance, and Barley definitely brings that in. Whereas in Mewtwo Returns, Dan tries really well, but he's just not the right actor for this character.
Apparently, the only reason why they brought Dan as Mewtwo for Mewtwo Returns is because the guy who voiced him in this movie went under a fake alias, and it was assumed that he was dead. And every time he tried to fix it, it was like, I'm not dead. Someone in Wikipedia would re-edit it as, this person is dead. That is like because he didn't want to be associated with this movie. He thought it was like a generic kids film, but as the years went on, he realized, oh, people do like this movie, and it was a part of their childhood. So it's like, oh, oops.
So he's kind of like the guy who originally played Obi-Wan. Didn't really care for Star Wars, just saw it as some hack kitty job stuff, but did it for the money.
Well, actually, no.
Also, he didn't want to affect his resume because actors go through different.
Actually, Jovah, if you allow me that correction, actually, Jovah, if you look at the Empire of Dreams documentary that comes with the 2040 video, no, Alec Guinness was actually the only one in that production that actually believed in the project because, Mark Hamill, I even asked him, why are you so into it? Well, I like I like playing the idea of a mentor in an old-fashioned story and stuff. I like actually the only one that actually believed in the project because every other actor, including the main three, didn't believe in A New Hope when they were shooting it at all.
He believed in the project. My point is that he didn't seem to really care for the franchise when it became big, or the whole fans thing or whatnot.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
Regardless, though.
But yeah, overall, the movie, I had fun with it. There are some great scenes, especially the Minnesota Vikings joke.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, I'm going to give this a 6. So with that, we have Jovah, me and Shiro gave it a 6, which goes into
Actually, Shiro gave it a 7.
No, I gave it a 7. Yeah.
I gave it 2.
Me, Pedro, and Jovah all gave it 6, which gives us 18, I think. Yeah, yes, I can do math. Plus Shiro 7, which gives it to is that 24?
I want to remind everybody that my 6...
Oh my god. That's 25, Dig. 18 plus 7 equals 25.
I literally woke up before we started this. My mind is not functioning right now.
I want to make it clear again that my 6 goes to the Japanese version. If it's the English dub, I would only give it a 4.5.
Price is Right rules, sucker. I don't know how that actually works, but I'm giving it.
Anyway, so I guess that means a total of 25 out of 40.
Yes, congrats, guys. Let's just say I'm not going to be as kind to the next movie, and that's all I'll say.
Oh, none of us are. Because, whereas Pokemon the first movie, you could argue several things. It was their first movie. There were good ideas, just not good executions.
But since that's neither here nor there, I feel like this is the proper way to get Shiro with this. I wrote this down. Sign us off with it. All right. Okay. Who wants to sign us off then? Because clearly she's embarrassed.
Can I try?
Sure.
No, it's just trying to read this on go is.
All right, let me try. Now that the gang has finished its first film, they travel to the mystical year of 2000 to watch how one guy can save the world. Tune in to Pokemon 2000, The Power of One, as the journey continues.
All right, good night, everybody.
That's better. Bye.
Bye.